This abandoned Chuck E. Cheese is now a thrift store. Opened in September of 2000, this location remained in operation for 20 years, but eventually closed in 2020 when the company was shutting down many of their restaurants due to filing for bankruptcy. This location sat abandoned until late 2022 when a thrift store took over and surprisingly left things behind, indicating what this building once was. Like right here, where the entire animatronic stage can still be seen today. And if that isn't crazy enough, you won't believe what sign I found that they somehow never took down. So my mission today is to find anything still left from when this was a Chuck E. Cheese and look around the thrift store to see what they got. Who knows, they might even have Chuck E. Cheese merchandise. Let's go. It's always interesting when a store shuts down and another place moves in, because then you have a reason to go inside. Because with most abandoned places, once it shuts down, you aren't really allowed to go in. But when something like this happens, then you can actually go inside and look around. Spirit Halloween is a good example of that. Ever since I did my other video going to an abandoned Chuck E. Cheese, all of you wanted me to go inside, so now I'm technically doing that. Now on the building itself, you can still kind of see the outline of the old paint, but it looks like they painted it over. And because the front was painted over, you can hardly see the outline of the old logo anymore. When the thrift store first opened, you could clearly see the old logo, but they have since repainted it. The only stuff I can really see is this is where the letters would be that would spell out Chuck E. Cheese. And then on the top right there, you can see the top of his head if you really look closely. And then obviously right below it, you have the door to go in the building. Now as you first walk in, there's already so much Chuck E. Cheese related stuff to see. Starting with the doors themselves, if you've ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese, then you would know they always have these classic red doors. And you can see them right here because they were never repainted. But if you needed any more proof that these were from Chuck E. Cheese, on the door itself is this sticker that couldn't make it any more clear. You have a picture of Chuck himself, and below him reads, Chuck E. Cheese's uses digital surveillance cameras. You can see they tried to rip it off, but gave up, so it remains today. Another small thing right as you walk in is this piece of wood on the wall. Most people wouldn't even bat an eye at it, but if you know Chuck E. Cheese, then you could piece it together that they usually always had a big token by the door, and this occasion was no exception. The token hung right here, and if you look close enough, you can almost still see the outline. Also throughout the store, you'll see other outlines of where the art used to hang. Now there's still plenty more of Chuck E. Cheese related stuff to look at, but if I stand in this doorway all day, we'll never see them. Right as you actually walk in is when you see all the items available at the thrift store, but this area should look familiar, and that's because it's where the old prize booth and registers were. With the thrift store barely removing any of the walls, it makes it very clear to see where it once was. Even all the cabinets where the prizes would be are still in the same spot. And on the wall, this old sign indicates that the prizes may be purchased for cash. Seeing the salad bar should be no surprise. I almost made myself a plate with how little has been updated. I mean, am I in a thrift store or a kitchen? But as for the items available to buy, I'm sure most people would love them, but they're not anything I would get. Those items will come up later on, and trust me, there's something special. As you walk along in the store, if you look down, you'll realize that this is the old Chuck E. Cheese carpet. This is the type of thing where it's really if you know, you know. Good luck trying to find someone who knows where this carpet came from. Honestly, Chuck E. Cheese should go back to this carpet, then everyone would know. Now, I will talk about the best stuff in this place later on, but first let's go back to all the items themselves. It was mostly stuff you would expect to see in a thrift store, like old books, which I'll be honest, I have no idea what these are. A lot of vinyls, and no, they don't have the extremely rare Chuck E. Cheese one. Vintage dolls. A pile of this stuff. Hey, I guess someone out there needs it. Supply and demand. All of this money just laying here. It's definitely real. And I even found a bunch of DVDs. But this Rocky one was the only movie that really caught my eye. Somehow they didn't have the really obscure, hard to find VHS of the Chuck E. Cheese film. I can't believe that. But one area I always go to in a thrift store is the old toys. You never know when you'll find something cool in these sections, so I usually take a look. In past thrift stores, I found pretty unique items, but here I didn't have the same luck. Most of these toys seem newer, so it wasn't anything I was looking for. But if you want to see old and weird items that you most likely wouldn't see today, then this is the section for you. These are the type of products I like finding in thrift stores, because you'll think you've thought of every possible product that could be out there until you run into something like this and you're proven wrong. Like, here's a hairbrush for people that are bald. You got the living arm, a classic rubber chicken, this toilet paper that doesn't rip, a man's bikini for bowling. I definitely won't be be picking that one up. And here's a product I feel like I'll regret opening, but it ended up just being mouthwash. Now you may think I just showed the weirdest stuff, but let's not forget about this poopy diaper. Yep, that's an actual real thing they have. And if you love poop and want more, you're in luck, because here's a whole container filled with poop products. They got all the different types, and you can pick your favorite. Save this one for me, guys. But as much as I would love to be here all day playing with poop and vomit, I had to make my way to the back of the store where you can see this old emergency exit sign. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Although that is from Chuck E. Cheese, the real attraction is the old Studio C stage still being here to this day. This Chuck E. Cheese location had a Studio C Alpha stage where there's only one animatronic. That was put in when the store opened and remained all the way until the end when they eventually shut down. If another place buys an old Chuck E. Cheese building, most likely everything is gutted out to start fresh. But not here. From the top you can see the old curtain track, the old blue sky background that was a staple with the Studio C Alpha stages, and even the carpet where Chucky once stood. The piece of wood in the middle is where the animatronic would go. Now it would be great if the stage had the old Studio C carpet, but this is good enough. You'll almost never see any other place like this where the stage is this much intact. Obviously it's covered with items, but you can very easily see what it once was. Especially with looking at old photos, there's no doubt that this is the stage. On the other side is where the old blue screen and camera would be. This was a feature with these stages where you could see yourself on the TV, but there is no trace of that once being here anymore. In the middle was where the TV would go, and the border that would go around it is still on the wall. Now they have a nice little painting there instead. Now next to the stage was where the SkyTube's playground was, but there's nothing left behind from that being here, so all we have is old photos. I even found this photo where it's a weird mix between the old and new outfits. I don't know what to say about this, but as crazy as all of this is, there's still something I found that I haven't seen from anyone else who has gone here in different videos. Although the stage and the old signs are clearly from Chuck E. Cheese, it's mostly only going to be real fans that notice. I wanted to find something where it explicitly says Chuck E. Cheese, and that sticker in the front did, but that was too new for my taste. You'll find something older if you look next to the doors as you leave the building. Here's the old height marker from Chuck E. Cheese with Phase 3 colors. The Phase 3 remodel was rolled out in the late 90s and went away in the early 2000s. And with the store opening in the year 2000, that's when this was put up. And if you read it, it says, "Thanks for visiting Chuck E. Cheese's." You can't get any more clear than that. I actually almost missed it, but at the last second I saw it and could finally leave this place satisfied that I found two things where it says Chuck E. Cheese. And if anyone is curious, around the back of the building, it doesn't say Chuck E. Cheese anywhere. I was hoping it would, but it doesn't. On the other abandoned location I visited, it still said it, but here it doesn't. So sad. I've made many videos going to different Chuck E. Cheese locations where they haven't remodeled yet and still had the animatronics, and even me exploring another abandoned Chuck E. Cheese. I wasn't able to go inside like this one, but I got to see the before and after. Make sure to subscribe, and I am now selling merch. Click the link in the description to get yours today.